way our system is set up is like a loaded gun. And once people thought we can get leverage on policy disputes by threatening default, that was an extraordinarily dangerous precedent. And that's a principle that I had to adhere to, not just for me, but for the next president, that you're not going to be able to threaten the entire U.S. or world economy simply because you disagree with me about a health care bill. I'd like to believe that the Republicans recognized that was not a good strategy. And we're probably better off with a system in which that threat is not there on a perpetual basis. I do not foresee what we saw in October being repeated in January. But the broader point is one that I think all of us have to take to heart. We have to be able to disagree on policy issues without resorting to the kinds of extreme tactics that end up hurting all of us. And that's been my main disagreement with a lot of my Republican friends. And frankly, the American people agree with that. They don't expect us to march in lockstep. There's a reason why we got two parties in this country. They do expect that we are constantly thinking about how are we making sure they can find a job that pays well, that their kids can go to college and afford it, that we are growing and competitive, that we are dealing with our fiscal position in a sensible way. And if we keep them in mind consistently, then I think we're going to be successful. One thing that you've got some international CEOs here, and I think they'll confirm this. When I travel, what's striking to me is people around the world think we've got a really good hand. You just take the example of energy. They say America is poised to change our geopolitics entirely because of the advances we've made in oil production, natural gas production. It means manufacturing here is much more attractive than it used to be. That's a huge competitive advantage. We've got the most productive workers just about in the world. And our workers have become more and more productive. And a lot of companies look at that and say, we wish we had workers who were able to operate the way these folks do. Our university systems, our research infrastructure, all those things are the envy of the world. And one of the great things about America is sometimes we get worried that we're losing traction and the sky is falling. And back in the 80s, Japan was about to take over, and then China, and obviously before that, the Soviet Union. And we usually come out okay because we change and we adapt. I just want everybody to remember that we're in a very strong position to compete as long as our political system functions. It doesn't have to be outstanding. This is sort of like Winston Churchill, 2 cheers for democracy, and it's always going to be messy, but it's got to function better than it has.